What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Sunday. Some people think it's the end of the week. Some people think it's the start of the week. Anyway, hope you're doing well. As always, welcome back here to the channel. We've got an action-packed show tonight. We're going to be breaking down lots of key charts that no one else is sharing with you guys. We're going to be taking a look at the bull-bear scale. We're going to be taking a look at what's going on with lending of stable coins, because I'm going to show you something that I think might just blow your minds a little bit. And everyone's going to go, why is no one else talking about this? And I'll be like, I don't know why no one else is talking about it, but that's why you guys come to this channel. Anyway, we'll take a look at the latest news and, more importantly, what is coming this week. As the bulls once again got excited about that uptrend that was in the market, guess what came in and spoiled the party? That's right, the 20-day EMA just came in and was like, no, you are not running. And for good reason, actually. When you start to put some things on the bone, as they say, then you start to understand exactly what is going on here. So hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. I actually took my missus out for some food yesterday. It was pretty good. Went to an Indian. It was decent. It was all right. And had a couple of drinks, so that was fine. But good to be back in the hot seat talking about the market, especially with you guys and you guys. All right, so do me a favor, as always, when you walk through the door, hit up the like button to a brand new all-time high. If you haven't subscribed or hit the follow button, then I highly recommend you doing that as well, because it's definitely in your interest to do it. All right, I do have a little bit of tea left, so don't hate me for that. But with that being said, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. TikTok, let me move you as well. And so you guys, because you guys need to see some of the charts that we're going to talk about, all right? Because if you are also in this market, as are we all, then you guys need to see this as well, all right? And it's going to be important. I just want a decent year in crypto. Yeah, Rob, tell me about it. Well, that year isn't starting just yet, in my opinion. Like I said, I am going to have to move my camera as well so you guys can see it. But yeah, anyway, welcome in. Chipper, good to see you behave in the building. Says, hey, bro, good evening. What's going on, my man? Good to see you as always. Tomato Pete, Zero Dew, Miss Monty Python on the telly. So here I am. Great news. BTC as low as 48 to 49k, but realistic around 50k bottom. Yeah, lots of people are calling for that. But good to see you, man. The bottom is not in. Interesting. Yeah, so many people like, you know, over the last couple of days are like, oh, here it is. You missed it. We're pumping to the moon. And it's like, boom, there's a 2% correction. See ya. Yeet. You know what I mean? Proper yeet. Am I wearing my yeet t-shirt tonight? No, I am not wearing my yeet t-shirt. That's a shame. That's a shame. Anyway, Avon Mus, thank you for commenting on my recent videos, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's get into exactly what's going on. So you can see here on Bitcoin, we're on the 12-hour chart. Bitcoin breaking underneath this key support here. Now, if you remember when we were last live Friday night, we were talking about some of these key levels that we still have on our chart. We even talked about the potential Fibonacci retracement that we were looking at from this upper range. And we said if we lose this line, expectation would be 67,312. It does look like we're going to get to that point. However, there is some very important things that's going to happen over the course of the next probably about 6 hours that we need to talk about, all right? So we'll get into that as well tonight and sort of give a bit of a vibe and a bit of a view and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, interesting enough here on the Fibonacci, very much playing out as you would expect. You could even argue and say, well, 2-bit, let's take it from the last move here and start to get a real sense of where we are. And you can, again, see how this all plays out. A loss of this support line, which I think we will lose, by the way, 68.6 is kind of that range. So we're already below it right now. Then I expect us to come and retest the 382 Fibonacci 67.5k, probably setting us up for what I think will be a pretty challenging week this week, all right? I'm going to tell you why in tonight's live stream. Now, the opposite, however, if we were to go, say, to the 4-hour chart and we actually can bounce back above this support line, this could be a really interesting long trade if you were looking to trade this market. You know, it's up to you guys if you are, but you'd be back within the mixer here. I think the important thing to reference is the reason we've come out. You also 20-day EMA. Look at this support here on the 4-hour chart. So we came down, retested, got rejected, and headed lower down. But you can see though this kind of range here just has a lot of volatility that sats in it. So again, where you know we've seen this pattern play out a number of times before, and if you don't get the break at the top of range, what happens? You probably come all the way back down. We may even head back down to this range down here, by the way. This could be a, this could be a target based on a couple of things that's happening this week. Obviously, we're going to get into them over the course of tonight's live stream. All right. So, Bitcoin is doing what Bitcoin normally will do in a bear market, which is kind of just consolidating sideways, building support, accumulating buy pressure. But there are some key things that I think a lot of people are missing right now that I think, A, is going to create further downside pressure in the market. But I do think it's going to trap some people that are feeling or are desperate to be bullish. This right now, in my opinion, and again, people can say, you don't know what you're talking about, you're full of shit, all that kind of stuff, right? I'm cool with it, right? It's your money at the end of the day. You do what you think is the right thing to do. But this kind of market setup, this kind of market structure is designed to wreck people, all right? It is deliberately designed to make sure that you FOMO the crap out of this bag. You feel like you're going to miss out. I'm going to show you a chart that literally tells a story of exactly that happening. And what happens is they just take your money and then they push the price down lower. Again, my targets have always been down this range here. This is where I'm looking to open that trade. This is where I'll be looking to get into my positions. And again, if we go lower, then fine. We could drop to 50K like Zero Dune says. All right, cool. Well, if we do, fine. I'm going to be set for it. And I think that's the important way to play it. KT says, it's all crashing. I'm off to Outback. Brandon Howard, good to see you, man. Welcome in. Crypto back in the house. Larry says Bitcoin Cash is not in the bear market. Nice. My main thought was what happens to SHIB. Now it's completed the golden cross and it's canted none. Well, let's take a look at those. Pepe obviously had a move. What was interesting with the Pepe move, by the way? We can jump forward a little bit here. What happened with the Pepe move, and probably plays into the narrative that, again, I'm sort of talking about here, is like, you could see it. Pepe pumped. All of a sudden, there's like everyone's putting a video out. Oh, Pepe's going to the moon. No one really understands why it's moving. No one really knows why. Everyone's just like, oh my God, Pepe's going crazy. Oh my God, Pepe's going to be, here it comes, Pepe breakout. It's like, nah, bros, come on. I'll even prove my point here. Look, just kind of think it was interesting. I saw it all. I'm just like, oh my God. There you go, look. Got Pepe caught. People got Pepe breakout. Pepe slashing pigs on Valentine's. 1 cent on Pepe. You're like, oh, Jesus. These are what market makers want. These are the people that are going to be, just giving all of their money away. Yeah, Pepe pumped a little bit on a low liquidity, low volume weekend. Like, come on. You've got to be serious about this. And this is the problem. People are going to end up getting absolutely smoked through periods of time like this. Everyone right now is absolutely desperate for the market to push. They are desperate to have not missed the bottom. And this is why I think you're going to get some FOMOers and you're going to get ultimately a lot of people kind of chopped up in these markets. So again, play it sensibly, play it patiently. That's my view, all right? Is it good time to enter short until 65? I wouldn't say right now. Personally, I am kind of looking for a short entry. I'm not going to lie, but I would play off any of the EMAs. So I've talked about the 50 EMA, which again, we lost here. And it's only because I wasn't able to kind of do this trade. I was out at work today, but again, look at this support of the 20-day and we lost it. So, BTC pushes back up here at 69K. If you're going low margin, low leverage, or certainly low leverage, then yeah, you could probably pick it. I would say anything between this kind of upper range here. Normally, when we break below the 20-day EMA, we do see a consistent push down until we then break back up. So, my view is kind of at the minute is kind of wait and see. I don't necessarily, again, this is the whole point, isn't it? There's no rush into this market. Everyone just needs to kind of relax a little bit. So anyway, this is kind of where Bitcoin price is. ETH obviously dropped. Again, absolutely trapped loads of people that just suddenly went bullish on ETH. This candle here, like everyone's like, oh my God, ETH's going to the moon. Here we go, baby. It pumps back up, loses the 50-day EMA and comes back down. Exactly how you can tell these are manufactured moves. Look at it. You just got to be sensible about this. So many people are going to lose so much money over the course of the next, maybe, 2 months or something, just because of these crazy setups. The only one that was actually doing well was XRP, but yet again, you can see, look at this. So yeah, I know the market cooled off today and the market dipped, but this is just manufactured. You got to understand it. Look at this, the dump, the pump, down to this lower support line, what we had. Again, we'll leave this here. We get the pump above the 50-day EMA with a instant wick down. I mean, you kind of look at how this kind of just played out over the 15-minute chart. You just got this build-up pattern here, then the push, then you get the volume spiking, and then people get wrecked, and it just comes all the way back down. So this is kind of why I'm saying at the minute, there'll be loads more of these moves. Sometimes doing nothing isn't a bad idea. Just my opinion, all right? Not always right. We certainly try and analyze this market, and there'll be a couple of things I'm going to show you in a minute that could be pretty interesting. Yeah, I did watch the Senate hearing, and it was a bit cringy, if I'm dead honest. It was a bit cringy, I'm not going to lie. I tried to short on Pepe earlier, but it actually liquidated me. Well, that's because if I know you right, Craig, you'll have been high leverage, very low margin, knowing you. Wait for the massive mega short squeeze is coming. I think so as well, Bastic. P.S. You're always full of... What's that for Zero June? Is Zero June coming in fresh right now or not? CryptoMax says... Oh, I said that, didn't I? Your thoughts on Crypto Arrows George's coin called Clash? I don't know. Isn't that just a play on the actual, like, game, Clash of Clans? Isn't it? I can't remember. Is a coin based on that game, right? I think, from what I know. What's going on, Swamp? Good to see you. Tim Shays here as well. Welcome, buddy. Sometimes no trade is the best trade. Exactly, RPM. Viva the Bacon's in the house. Well, what's going on, Viva? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. All right, so this kind of sets us up here. I'm not going to get... not going to, go super crazy into any other coins, really. The market's exactly where you would expect it, with some coins down 6%. Will there be finance? Could lose, gain a zero back, which is kind of crazy. Swift Coin's probably the only one that's performing well. BCH is all right. And again, some of the other ones. Zero says doing nothing, spending something. 2-bit for PM. Thanks, mate. I reckon I could fix the country. Anyway, commodities, by the way, look like they're going to open up very, very favorably, albeit... People call me crazy. Silver still hasn't recovered from where we said. And more importantly, look at this. You get the low, you get the lower high, the lower low, the lower high. And, I mean, this is the anomaly right now, but this is why I think silver pushes down in the morning and creates another lower low here. So, I don't give a shit what people think. Silver is coming down, baby, as is... gold, albeit not quite as aggressively as we said the other day, but I mean, gold kind of trying to rally back up a little bit. I guess you got higher high, maybe. I mean, it's pretty much within the next, within a couple of dollars, but still above 5,000. So I'm not in a world going, hey, it's going to be crazy and all this kind of stuff. But still, at the same time, these are the ones to keep your eyes peeled on. We'll take a look at the futures market as always later on. Damien, what's going on, buddy? And we'll sort of get into kind of what that looks like. Rest of the market looks pretty flat, as you would expect. All right, good. That's a brief overview of where we sit right now. We'll keep an eye on the price of BTC, but I want to dive into some of these key charts. And TikTok, I'm going to leave you guys so you can see it, because I think it's important, actually. There's some really good charts that you guys need to see, especially if you're in a world of like, is the market going to go up? Is it going to go down? Should I panic? And what is being built in the longer term? As I've always said for, a while, I am very much short-term bearish, long-term bullish, and I'm going to tell you why. So here it is, strongest equity retail flows on record. Retailer buying stocks right now, about $48 billion they dumped into the stock market over the course of the back end of last week. And certainly expectations is that we are now going to start to see retail buying into the stock market. People believe the bottom is in for stocks. Specifically, you look at things like Apple, Google, Oracle, all this AI narrative that we sort of discussed about. But this is why I think that this is the most obvious trap yet. Because people are going, oh my God, I need to FOMO in. Even when you look at mainstream media news, everyone's like the Dow Jones hit 50,000. I mean, as crazy as this sounds, even Pam Bondi in her Senate hearing brought the Dow Jones in when they were talking about the Epstein files. Like, it's insane, okay? That's insane to a degree. So you kind of get into this world right now where this whole narrative's been played out of like the stock market's going to go to the moon, the Dow Jones is going to hit 100,000, the Nasdaq's going to break all new all-time highs. That's not what you see from an institutional buying perspective. ETFs continue to slowly bleed out in terms of BTC. We see selling off by quite considerable margins in personal equity holdings in some of these equity markets as well. Retailer buying the dip, retailer going to get screwed, prices are going to come down. In my opinion, by the way, I could totally be wrong on this, but let me tell you a little bit why I think this is going to happen as well. 2-bit, don't forget, buying and selling metals doesn't update as fast as crypto dumps on a ledger. Agreed, and that market's closed for another few hours. But like I said, there is some key things that are about to land on our doorstep, which could end up being pretty tasty. For example, Japan will be releasing their GDP quarterly Q4 preliminary amount where the expectation is negative 0.6. Also, they're going to be releasing their price index, capital expenditure, as well as their GDP external demand and private consumption. We're going to get a view of what the Japanese markets are going to be, which might set the entire week up. You could see BTC take a massive shit on the back of the fact that Japan is going to dump its GDP. It's going to basically say, we might be heading to a recession. They are then going to have to spike their bond market, hitting 1.3, 1.5%. Everyone's going to freak out. Stocks are going to dump. Guess who's going to get screwed? You best it, retail, all right? So again, just my opinion. But I think everything's kind of playing out pretty obviously. Bitcoin Bijan with the 5 says, I have a BTC sell now, or is there a run 27K still possible? By the way, you are awesome. Hey, thanks, bro. My personal opinion is I am in stablecoin for at least 50 to 55% of my portfolio. I haven't bought anything. Is a relief rally to 87K possible? Yes. Do I think it's happening this week? No. But that doesn't mean it can't be. I think, in my opinion, personal opinion, I think wait about 5 hours and see what happens with futures markets, and also see what happens with all the noise coming out of Japan. There's lots of stuff going on. Bear in mind, you have all of this closed. So US, China, Brazil, and Argentina are all closed. Markets are not going to open. So, if Japan's GDP comes in bad, which market do you think is going to react? Because it ain't going to be the stock market because they're closed. So again, it is absolutely worth thinking about. Because if Japan's GDP expectations come down, they are then going to have to inject fiscal policy to make sure that their yen continues to move, blah, 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 blah. Then you're going to see some pain, right? You are going to see some pain. Also, by the way, we've got a load of other stuff that we'll talk about. For example, German's CPI on Tuesday, which is going to be bad. But anyway, this is interesting. Right. Bull bear market cycle scale. Where do we sit right now? Worth noting here. I just realized TikTok, you can't fully see the screen, so I apologize. So, is that better? I think that's better. There you go. Where we sit right now, we are in the bear market. All right. You can see here, historically, as price continues to come down, this is very much seen as a bear market as opposed to the reversal that we want to see. This tells us that price is probably going to push down a little bit further. 0 with the 10 says I'm donating just because I want to donate more than the guy before me. Oh my God. He killed me then. Thanks, Bryce. I absolutely believe it. Bitcoin says we can still hit a new all-time high in BTC, I believe. Yeah, I will definitely. I mean, there's an argument, and I'll walk you through a couple of principles, I think. I don't necessarily think we can be back at new all-time highs by the end of 2026, but it could end up being pretty close, in my opinion, all right? In my opinion. Doug says, why did most YouTubers talk about best wallet token during pre-sale? Now it's live. No one talks about it. Probably because they got paid to do it, is my view. That's normally what happens. That's normally what happens. That's why I talked about it. I mean, in fairness, I talked about that. Similar to this, by the way, Elipal, by the way, but they actually gave me a wallet. But I think it's a pretty cool wallet, by the way. It's a hot wallet, though, so bear that in mind. It's not a cold storage wallet. I think I said in some of my videos that actually it is a hot wallet, so you won't want to keep your entire portfolio on there. You want something like an Elipal, Legend NOS, Tangam, or something like that. Be better. BTC cooked. It's old season. RPM, maybe. What's going on, Ver? Good to see you, man. Tomato Pete, what's going on, buddy? We can still hit. I said that, didn't I? I said that. Okay, so we absolutely still sit in a bear market. We're not in an early bear market, which is kind of interesting because we've kind of come out of this. And again, these are all based on price. They're based on previous cycles. They're based on sentiment. Lots of kind of stuff right now. But as you can see, we actually did get that severe wick down on the crash over the last sort of couple of weeks. But again, we're looking for a key sort of flattening out of this chart. Again, when you look at previous bear markets, for example, down here, you can see how this kind of plays out, and you can see that we generally get a flattening followed by a spike, and then it all starts to come back in. So, you can see that it does end very, very quickly. So this is worth noting, by the way, but for me, we've got a way bigger portion to come. You can see here how this plays out. Similar back here in 2022, also back here in 2021 as well. So very similar structure right now as we sort of walk through late 2025, early 2026. I think we've got a little bit more to come. And FYI, if you think about where the bear market scale hits, every single time we've hit negative 1.6% on the bull bear scale, and that has triggered then the bear market. We've not got there yet, all right? So it is worth noting here. Are we cooked? We're not cooked, per se. But yeah, Bitcoin BTC, could he still hit 3K in a relief rally? Yes, I think it could. But you'd need Bitcoin. If BTC gets to 87K, then yeah, ETH could definitely hit 3K in a relief rally. But okay, so again, this is an important chart to think about. If you are looking at this market, you're trying to understand what is going on, then, in my opinion, this is where I think a lot of people are looking for hopium, but maybe not going to get it. This is an interesting chart. I didn't realize I need to move my face, don't I? Let me do this. Let me do this, YouTube, so you don't see my face. There we go. So this is interesting because this is the Bitcoin balance held by accumulating address cohorts, okay? So these are essentially which addresses are buying BTC right now, okay? So the blue is wallets that are accumulating. They're not selling anything. They just consistently keep buying, okay? For example, El Salvador has just announced that they continue to buy at least one Bitcoin every single week. These are exactly those wallets. These are people that are just accumulating. They are buying the dip. And what you note here is actually as price comes down, you see a bigger spike in the amount of wallets that are already accumulating. You can see then the orange is the accumulating retail addresses. These are anything, as we've always talked about here on the channel, that under 10 Bitcoin, they are buying. Again, you can see the number continues to move to the upside as people continue to buy. All right. And then you can see the accumulating pattern address, which essentially these are all just those that either buy and sell. They trade all day long. These will be things like exchanges as they kind of move up. So this chart tells us that on a broader scale, there is a significant number of accumulation by both retail and by bigger wallets as well. And the final one, and this is interesting because no one else is talking about it, and then TikTok, I'm going to make you see my face. What's going on, Verm? And everything else. Craig with a gifted membership. Welcome, KT. Good to see you, man. If you're in the Discord, let me know. Give you access to that premium Discord right now, 2 trade bots, as well as all our trading guides, as well as alerts. What an absolute bargain. $6.50 a month. What? 1 month left till the real bull run starts. DCA, people. Well, Zero Dune, let me just throw something out there that may even quantify what you're about to say that no one is talking about. Look at this chart, all right, people. Very interesting chart here, in my opinion. Mine, thank you so much for the heart me. I appreciate that. So this is the Aave borrowed aggregated value. So the blue is borrowed amount in USDT. The white is the Tether USDT borrow rate, i.e. what are people paying in terms of a percentage. The brown or red is the borrow amount in USDC. And finally, the green is the USDC borrow rate. So what you've got here is a indication on chain of people borrowing crypto. Now, just to be absolutely crystal clear, I am not going into some random like spin on lending money. My opinion, just don't do it, all right? I don't think it's a good idea. I don't necessarily think collateralizing your particular crypto assets to try and then go and get more crypto assets is generally a good thing. But it is worth noting here, there is a direct correlation. There is a direct correlation, and like a very obvious direct correlation between the increase in Aave borrows, i.e. USDC, USDT, including the increase in spike from an APY, how much you're paying back, and the Bitcoin price, okay? Whenever we see a price increase, a spike in the price, we see Aave also move. In fact, you can almost see these two things work hand in hand. So we can see here, back in 2024 of November, we absolutely then can correlate that back here. So if I go to 2 days here and go back to November of 2024, what do you see here? You see this big old run here, baby. So this is pretty much November 2024 is there. You can see a pretty large spike up here in the markets. So the two things absolutely correlate. The fact that we have people simply using their collateralized BTC, whatever it is, and they're buying more stablecoin. Why? Because they're going to buy more, okay? Fast forward, you start to see here, look, June of 2025 and May of 2025. Okay, well, what was happening around there? So April, so as you see here, look, May, we were starting to push up. We continued this push up in June, okay? So exactly that plays off. And then you can see here, look, in August, and, August was kind of the biggest month we got. Well, what was happening in August of 2025? Well, we were up at $118,000. We just broke another all-time high at $124,389. So this is a really interesting chart that I'm going to share with you guys. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to share with you guys, keep you guys posted, because even when you get dumps in the market and then you get a little pump back to the upside, this is exactly an indicator. What do we see right now? No one's collateralizing their Bitcoin. So again, if you're going to take your Bitcoin, you're going to take $100,000 worth of BTC and you're going to go and dump it on here because you think, well, this is going to be great and I'm going to be super, super bullish and all this kind of stuff. Then what happens? People get wrecked. All right. So again, at the minute, no one is collateralizing their BTC. No one wants to get any more coins. No one's trying to be in a world where they think it's a good idea to go and loan more. Why? Because everyone, even if they're not publicly saying it, thinks this market's going back down again. All right. So really interesting chart that I want to show with you guys. Like I said, everyone else is just giving you some sort of nonsense like this. Oh, Bitcoin's going to do what gold did. Of course it is. I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, why wouldn't Bitcoin just do what gold did? Why? Because, well, why the hell not? I mean, come on, it's obvious, right? Now, that doesn't mean that I don't believe there's a correlation between gold and Bitcoin, by the way, because I do. However, just because gold did one thing doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to do the same, all right? There's way too much in it and way too much manipulation in the gold market and also in the metals market for it to do the same. But this is the narrative that's been spun. I bring you back to my very initial point that says, hey, just take a breath. Don't rush into things. Look for the opportunity. I mean, look at BTC right now. Someone was asking, should they have gone short on BTC? You would have got wrecked if you weren't listening to this channel. Just saying, right? It's not financial advice. We just try and understand this market. However, if BTC gets to 28 EMA, you better believe at 69K, I'm going to probably drop a short on this and see what happens. Probably a short, stop loss at the 50 or maybe slightly above on the 50 at like 69.7, maybe even 70K actually. And then look for a trade down to the downside as the Japan market opens. Maybe. Salva says crypto is going much higher over the next 2 or 3 years. So obvious. 100% I agree with you. Crypto isn't sexy at the moment. No one cares about it. No one cares about it. Bitcoin says, can ETH hit 3K March? No. I don't think in March. That's like 6 weeks. I mean, could it do? Yeah. Is it likely? No. I don't think so. I actually think we're going to go down in price first. Just my opinion, right? Just my opinion. But interesting, isn't it? That's kind of where we sit to. So good. All right, last couple of charts for you. Bitcoin realized price bands. Bitcoin has not touched its realized price at 55K. We've discussed this chart a couple of times before. Every time Bitcoin has gone into a bear market, it broke beneath its realized price that currently sits around $55,000. It also aligns, as we've talked before, the 365-day moving average. It hasn't broke that point. Both times prior, it has labeled the bottom of the market. Now, in all of this, we could totally be wrong, and we could definitely have got it wrong. I don't think we have. I just feel like we have, we're into some stuff that a lot of people aren't. As I've always said sometimes here on the channel, so many people go into the charts, into the technicals, and they forget the macro that sits in it. Yeah, CPI's come in and it's dropped to 2.4, and that's generally a bullish thing. But all it's telling us is that inflation is rising at a lower rate. It's rising at 2.4. It's not negative. It's not like it's coming down. It's just rising slower. So, people mistake that in terms of CPI and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so this is kind of something worth noting, by the way, that we still have, in my opinion, a little bit further to come down the market. And that is where I think opportunity throws itself at us. Now, if you just take a look at what's coming this week, we may get a little bit of an idea as to what that is. For example, we're obviously going to get loads of the Japanese stuff open to sort of later on tonight, tomorrow morning, depending where you are in the world. We then get a little bit tomorrow from speech from Michelle Bowman, who hates interest rate cuts and all the rest of it. So we'll see where she gets in. We then start to get into some pretty spicy stuff. Unemployment rate in the UK, it's 5.1, expected to be worse, all right? It's garbage. You then get into loads more Fed members. So again, we get into Bar and Mary Daly. I don't even know who that person is, but I don't really care, to be honest. So again, we could get a little bit of data. We obviously get UK CPI 3.4. I mean, everyone thinks like, oh, the UK is great in a minute. It's a fucking joke. Anyway, more of that in a different video. So we start to get a little bit industrial production. Again, is it going to be a big deal? Probably not. We get the Fed minutes on Wednesday. Now, what if we see the Fed minutes and they're all a bit like, well, we all just thought it was like a load of crap and that we shouldn't be doing it. And we're going to wait for the data and blah, 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 blah. Like all of a sudden you could be at 65K by Friday. All right. Not saying that's going to happen. Just saying. BTC will pump 72K next week. And then the following 2 weeks will be a major dump. Potentially 49K accumulation will begin March, and then it will take a while. So you think BTC over the next 2 weeks? Hold on a minute. Well, 72. So you think BTC is going to go from 68? Hold on a minute. $72,000. I mean, it's not on the realms. 4.78%. Let me ask you this question: Why? Why do you think that? By the way, I'm not calling you out. I'm just curious. Fundamentals don't really matter. The charts will always tell you the direction before the news. Catalyst cut. I mean, that's true. I did my charity for this week. Time for a nap. Have a great weekend. Hey, Zero, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you, buddy. You too, bro. You too. So anyway, important to reference these things. Now, there is some other things going on that are really interesting that you could broadly pick up because I'm in the Illuminati. Fair play. Charts clearly showing BTC to 50 easy. Yeah, Crypto DNA, many people think Smokey's going for 34K. Smokey, no. Come on, bro. Following same cycle in 22 on the weekly, it's May of 2022. Interesting. People still on about filling a CME gap. Well, I think most people know about my thoughts on CME gaps, if I'm dead honest. Man, my eyes itching. It's because I'm getting stressed. All right, let's continue on. So, like I said, there's some pretty interesting stuff going on. Everyone knows who this guy is. Obviously, TikTok, you can't see it, but it's Michael Saylor, all right? Now, why have I brought Michael Saylor up on my screen? Because there is some pretty interesting things going on, especially when you talk about strategy. And why is it important? Well, because Michael Saylor's strategy can withstand the drawdown to Bitcoin's price of 8K and still have sufficient assets to fully cover its debt. Now, on the surface, you go, oh, well, you kind of get it. Fair enough. Like, he can withstand this to 8K. But read between the lines. Saylor's a bit like, here we go. Let's make sure that they stop trying to dump this market and try and liquidate us. By the way, I don't think you can liquidate strategy, but I actually think there's a bit more to this than just, oh yeah, well, bring it on, baby. We can withstand you to 8K and still pay our dividends out. It's like, not sure you can. Doesn't make sense to come this low and not fill the gaps. I mean, true. We can take a look at the CME gaps in a minute, but look at the similarities between 22 right now, and we need the next week to form in order to confirm the simulation we live in. Oh my God, Matthew. It's a simulation. Christ, could have had a warning to a bit. I mean, it is literally crypto's final move is coming. That is the title of the live stream. So, I mean, I was kind of in a place. And like I said, and nobody sees it. Nobody's watching what we're watching. Nobody's watching whether people are collateralizing Bitcoin. No one's watching to see whether people are over leveraging again. Here's my predictions, by the way, just FYI. You are going to get another big liquidation event where loads of longs get liquidated. And I'll show you in a little bit why I think that to be the case. Because everyone's getting confident again. Everyone's like, the bottom's in, 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 the bottom's in. No, it's not. No, it's not. I think this is kind of then when you end up in these kind of, you know, this kind of like reciprocal continuous cycle where, oh, longs pile in, price goes marginally up, everyone gets wrecked, then the price drops down. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Black Monday. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Black Monday because you haven't got enough. Well, half of the world's shut tomorrow, and particularly the US markets are closed. So I don't necessarily think you're going to get it, but you know, there's definitely an argument to say that there could be some pretty interesting stuff. Anyway, we'll talk about it, and I'll show you why I think it is. Mike Saylor isn't going to say we are cooked 100%, but I think he is deliberately trying to make sure that people don't hunt him for a liquidation, in my opinion. It's only my humble opinion, by the way. But I think it's pretty interesting that we even have Saylor coming out. Now, in other news, now, this is actually and it's interesting, this one, actually. I can't believe I'm covering it, really, but I just think it's kind of crazy and probably tells you exactly what is going on. But look at this. Everyone knows who this is, right? Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful. Come on, who's Mr. Wonderful, everybody? First in the chat, who's going to win TikTok or YouTube? Who is it? I'm watching. Who's Mr. Wonderful? Come on. Surely everyone knows it. Surely everyone knows it. Why don't you type it? I'm just sat here. O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary. Now, you may be thinking, why am I bringing Jean-Luc Picard? Why am I bringing Kevin O'Leary up? Well, because he finally and unequivocally sued Ben Armstrong. Oh, no. $2.8 million in the definition lawsuit case. Ah, bro. Oh, dear me. Dear me. I mean, who the heck knows? Well, I think there's only Bleaves that knows where BitBoy is, but 2.8 million for defamation. That's pretty wild. Pretty wild. A once hero in this space just got sued for $2.8 million. Absolutely insane if you think about it. Again, it's another like slap in the face if you're a crypto OG. Why? Because it's a change is coming, baby. Georgia says previous two bear markets lasted 12 months, so we are already 1/3 of the way through. I mean, that's maybe true. Bitcoin Bijam, no one knows. He has disappeared. Although I think Bleaves knows. I know him and Bleaves ended up being close, and Bleaves has chucked out a couple of videos about it. I haven't watched any of them, in fairness, but yeah, pretty wild. Okay, a couple of things to think about this week. FYI, Kobayashi letter here saying President's Day, US markets are closed on Monday. We looked at that. December durable goods orders on Wednesday. Fed meeting December PCE on Friday. There is also something else happening on Friday that could be pretty pivotal in these markets, okay? If you guys know what that is, drop it in the chat, let me know. Total of 10 speakers this week, so we'll get a real sentiment of where the Federal Reserve might go. What's the feeling? Now, remember, Kevin Warsh is officially going to be the new Federal Reserve. We are going to get pretty much most of the Fed giving their views specifically on the economy over this next week, and why or who Kevin Warsh is going to do. Expect some pretty extreme volatility. Could be pretty interesting. Right. Also, for anyone that's supported XRP, by the way, look at this. Insane. Hong Kong going wild. The gateway for China to get into the crypto market, $1.2 billion worth of XRP in the last 24 to 36 hours. Wild, if you ask me. I mean, Pepe's in there at 50 million, which is kind of crazy, but you know, you got some pretty big movers and groovers here, particularly coming out of Hong Kong. Okay, he wouldn't have won that case if he'd been accused of looking like a... I mean, that's true. He spends his days outside, man, fighting pigeons. Oh my god. I don't think he is, Jojo. I don't think they are. Yeah, a Bitcoin beach. I mean, I never really watched a lot, but yeah, I mean, look, when you get to a point where you've got 2 or 3 people around you, you got a team around you, and you can really dive into it, then yeah, I can imagine you can get in some pretty wild stuff. So yeah, pretty crazy. Right, just really quickly, before I want to talk about this last thing, here you've got the BTC liquidation maps, and look, what do you know here? There's a lot of shorts starting to pile up. So these are longs that could get liquidated, but look at this. If we get prices up, shorts could absolutely get nuked. So, you know, people still believe prices are going down, but nowhere near what we've seen. And again, you can see how much the leverage is sitting right now. So we could definitely see some longs getting owned over the course of at least the next 2 or 3 days, if you ask me, just based on where people are positioning themselves on these trades. So it's not active. It's still there, but I don't think it's active. Anyone cheering up in strategy gets liquidated does to get people are tired of constant clown show, people losing the S market. It happens there. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what that's the point. That's why I think he's come out and said we can withstand a dump to $8,000 on BTC. Like, you're just not going to liquidate strategy. So I actually think that's why he's come out and announced it to stop like this whole nonsense and market manipulation and this like desire to just liquidate everyone. It's insane, if you ask me. Totally insane. So yeah, so there is something else that's happening on Friday. Yes, we get PCE data, but there is also something else. Who knows what else is coming on Friday? And then I want your views. Okay, I want your views. Looks like we may be finding support at 68k, but we will also see that's true. Innovative. Yeah, there's no stopping BTC. Alts might be dead though. I mean, alts are certainly on live support right now. Scott's Nodes, what's going on, buddy? Welcome. Thanks for the awesome. You are, my friend, awesome as well. So, does anyone who has a guess on Friday? It's going to come out of left field if you don't know what it is. So, PCE data is going to come in. There is something that could totally shock the market, maybe even crash the economy. Who knows? Anyone want to hazard a guess? Bum, bum, bum. Pay close attention to Friday this week, an event that could deeply affect the Bitcoin and altcoin price. What the hell is it? Well, I know what you're thinking. The United States Supreme Court is preparing to announce an important decision regarding the tariffs imposed by Trump. We're here again. It's tariff day. It's tariff day. Is the Supreme Court going to rule on tariffs? No, they're not. They're going to make everyone freak out over the course of the next 5 days in the assumption that tariffs are going to get announced and everyone's going to have to pay back $347 billion worth. And they're going to go, oh, yeah. I mean, look, let's leave it another couple of months. Like, why the hell not? So, yeah. So, give me your views, by the way. Drop it in the chat and also drop it in the chat there. Let me know. Do you think tariffs gets announced on Friday? Do you think the Supreme Court's really going to overrule the Trump administration on that one? Thoughts on Zilliqua? Did we look at that the other week? I feel like we did. Yeah, bear with me and we will take a look at it. Let me just close some of these windows down that we've got open. Okay, cool. Trump on the board, we're talking about the Clarity Act this week as well, weren't they? Yes, Scott Besson has been advocating pretty aggressively to get that over the line, which is good news. I don't necessarily think you're going to get a lot this week. You know, there's this whole funding for DHS that's kind of going through right now, and obviously there's all this Epstein stuff. So I'm not sure you're going to get loads of it through, but there is a desire, I think, by the summer to get it pushed through. Was the last I'd seen from Scott Besson and a couple of others that, you know, they were trying to push through for, you know, at least a summer kind of announcement. So maybe we get that. The other thing to note, by the way, I didn't talk about it, but US jobs data didn't come in particularly favorable. I think we discussed this on Friday, but you know, inflation and employment data released in the US came in more positive than expected. Strong macroeconomic picture supported by the rise in equity markets, the Dow Jones over 50,000 threshold. So again, in my opinion, another reason why I don't think they roll back on tariffs. Just my view. Okay, right. BTC trying to rally a little bit here, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? kind of interesting here. Let's go into the 30-minute and see exactly what's going on. I mean, we could get a nice little bounce here on BTC, which would be good. It all can be stopped by keep playing dumb games, and it will all go to the pot. These mining companies can easily save and go download. I mean, that's true. Well, with the advantageous move on energy and the, essentially bringing the cost of energy down, then it makes mining Bitcoin cheaper. So that fair value that we talked about currently sits at 55,100 for a price of BTC. Could end up being lower if the cost of energy comes down. It's almost like a double negative, isn't it? Bring cost of energy down, brings inflation down, brings cost of goods down, could screw Bitcoin and bring it down further. Could, all right? Maybe. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, give us a quick tap on the old like button. I do appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in tonight. Thank you so much for taking on just a little bit of time out of your day. Also, if you are enjoying this type of content, you like being at the forefront, the cutting edge of this market and getting something a bit different, all right? We're not just going to sit here and talk about charts. A little bit different, all right? Try and interact with the audience as much as I can. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. We are nearly at 40,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I think we're nearly at about 5,000 on TikToks as well. So I'd appreciate if you could, again, engaging, talking, chatting. It just all helps the algorithm. So shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I massively appreciate it. Well, with most of the market closed tomorrow, we could see some good, decent 10 to 50% pump and dumps. Yeah, maybe. Depends what happens with Japan, I think. Depends what happens with Jack. So one of the moderators, just take care of that. It's going to be an interesting ride. Buckle up. Yeah, I know. It's going to be pretty wild. It's going to be pretty wild if you ask me. Yeah, it's going to be pretty wild in fairness. So, Tim, I don't know if you can or just someone, just that last comment, if we can just remove it. There's no need for that at all, actually. Whatever your opinion is of it, we just no need for that. Okay. So that's kind of where we get to with that. We can look at the DeFi market if we want. Pre-markets are probably a good one to take a look at, just in my view. Has this just stopped working, this chat? Oh, there we go. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. Okay, so we can take a look at the pre-markets and see. Thanks for the sharing, Scott's Notes. Thanks so much for. Hey, everyone can share. Look, there's a little button here. Just press this button, share it out. Let people know, like, hey, I just found this most amazing guy. He's on talking about crypto. He's amazing. It'd be great. So futures, what are we going to get? I mean, we're only really interested in what happens with the Japanese markets, really, in the short term. So look at this. The Japanese markets right now are pricing in a negative futures market. I mean, look at that. Shanghai is down 51 points. The STI down 78 points. 465 on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Did I see your comment in Discord as well? No. Where did you put it? Oh, did you put it in the staff chat? Did you put it in the staff chat? Right. Have you just yeeted them out, Craig? Is that in general? Did you yeet them out? I didn't see it. I'm assuming you yeeted them, by the way. Yeah, nice. Good job, sir. Good job. Yeet. Yeah, I need to. I don't know if there's many people that have. I mean, look, I can just kick all these people out that just. It's like, why join? Why join the Discord and not verify yourself? It just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. But hey, just kick all these people out. Clean it all up. But yeah, anyone that does anything like that, just literally yeet them out. Like, we don't need people like that. Our Discord is the coolest place on the planet. I see like they've sorted themselves out. Nice. There you go. You get access to it. If you do it right, you get access to it. It's just that simple, isn't it? Right. Cool. Cleaned it all up. Thanks for that. Okay. So yeah, really interestingly, actually, the Asia markets look like they're going to open negative. So let's try and bring up Japan GDP. Let's see what this is going to give us, just out of interest. Husky Tom, what's going on, bro? Oh, I thought there'd be I think the crypto market is going to be brutal in 2026. It's going to be very volatile, I think. I think you're probably right. I do, however, think we will see a bottom earlier than later. Just my opinion, by the way. Asian market shut for a week. Is it? What? No, it's not. Yeah, US is shut. The Asian markets aren't. They've got their GDP announcement tomorrow. Chinese New Year. How's that got to do with Japan? Only shut tomorrow. Yeah. It didn't look like it was shut tomorrow. They've got the GDP announcements tomorrow. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. National holidays. Yeah, they're not closed tomorrow. I didn't think the Japanese markets were. They closed on February the 11th, February the 23rd for the Emperor's birthday. Japanese markets are open tomorrow. They're open tomorrow. So yeah. I mean maybe Hang Sheng and stuff is. Maybe Hang Sheng and whatnot is, but yeah, interesting if you ask me. So the other one we're getting is this: Bank of Japan likely to avoid a March rate hike. Obviously, this is kind of where I'm saying that people are going to like freak out a little bit, and potentially we're going to see this kind of nervousness in the market. But yeah, Bank of Japan likely to hold it in March. Markets trim hike bets, and traders may pare back near-term rate hike pricing easy upward pressure. Depends what stimulus they put in. Don't forget, she was voted in to kind of really get the Japanese market going. The yen strengthening sharply against the dollar. Again, expectations of economic boost, as it were, which could end up being pretty interesting if that kind of plays out. What was the dollar versus yen? Craig, do you know? So the Japanese yen currently sits at 696, and the dollar to the yen is 0.006552. So arguably strengthening a little bit against the dollar, which is kind of interesting. So. China, Shanghai, and Hong Kong. Yeah. At the bottom is near the real 1CG. The bottom is near. Yeah, well, look, that's kind of certainly what a lot of us are in that narrative of believing, or certainly think that we could get. I told you the aliens would crash the market. It's all about the aliens. They're taking over. Jesus. But yeah, I mean, this whole Japan thing could end up being super interesting. Super interesting, if you ask me. But yeah, the big thing is like how much fiscal stimulus they're going to put in. The number that I'm hearing, or certainly that I can see, is $783 billion is what essentially has been chucked into bond issuance and reducing the proportion of the budget financed by fresh debt. Could be wild. If you think about it. A record 122.3 trillion yen budget for the year starting from April. The core part of Takachini's provocative fiscal policy. Jesus. Sounds wild, doesn't it? Tokyo inflation slows but still points to rate hikes. Again, if they raise their rates, then it's going to unwind a little bit in the US. Like, it's going to freak people out in the US. Although the last time didn't super go crazy, but... yeah, so Japan's definitely one to keep your eyes out for. That could end up being a real, interesting one, personally. Craig says, #yen. X21, what's going on? We going down? Maybe. I mean, this is the 30-minute chart, so it's kind of giving us a view. Look at this. Absolutely insane. Pump on the Friday. We trend very well, then yeet all the way back down again as we start to look for the week ahead. It's a playbook as old as time. It's like Beauty and the Beast, isn't it? Like Beauty and the Beast. So, yeah, I think so, personally. When you look at that, kind of where these charts are, if we lose this low range, I mean, we're back in this key area right now. You're about to get a bearish crossover here on the 20 and the 50-day EMA, which tells us that the trend is down from this local peak here around just under 71,000, which, probably aligns a little bit here. Good short opportunity if you took that. Don't forget, by the way, you only have a limited time left to sign up with Bitunix. Their platform is one of the best out there. That's why I've been doing a ton of trading, and I highly recommend checking it out. The link is in the description. Also, it's in my bio. You've only got, like I say, a limited time over. We are one of the only channels right now offering 50% rebate on your deposits, which is insane, up to a value of $1,000. So deposit $1,000, you get $500 back. I'm going to post it in the Discord. So if you are interested, get yourselves in that Discord. Also, it's in the chat as well. But yeah, one of the only channels offering a 50% rebate right now with Bitunix. So check it out. I wouldn't be surprised if Japan announced that they are allowing people to buy Bitcoin and crypto again tomorrow. I mean, maybe. Maybe. I mean, the BOJ, got to be careful how you make sure you get that O in there, is going to be the one to watch out. So again, expectations, by the way, is negative 0.6 on their GDP announcement. So could be pretty interesting. Could be pretty interesting. So, you know, tariffs, Japan, FOMC meeting, a lot of stuff this week that could create real volatility in the market. One of the big things to think about as well, which we haven't really looked at, and I don't think we looked at it on Friday, would be what is the ETF looking like? Now, again, we actually got an outflow on XRP ETFs, which is kind of interesting. So this is obviously from Friday. Markets are closed right now. So we got a little bit in, 31 milli, nothing super mental, you know. Again, a little bit of that data coming in on Friday. So what do we expect to happen? Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's always worth keeping your eyes on what is happening at BlackRock, but I don't think a lot has happened over the weekend. Everything feels pretty flat and normal. So yeah, you can see that 2 days ago. Look, that was the last time we sort of saw some kind of aggressive selling coming out of BlackRock. So again, we'll see whether this plays out. You know, obviously they'll start to potentially position this as US markets look to open. So we'll see. We will see. What about XRP? XRP, well, we talked about this on the charts. Absolute fake out, you know, and you're going to see this a load of times over the course of the, over the course of this sort of coming thing. Why is that being weird? All right, let's put volume back on here. Net volume. Ooh, that doesn't work. That's a shame. Okay, for some reason my VPVR has all gone a bit weird. Anyway, we'll take a look at that in a different story. So yeah, XRP, in my opinion, you got this kind of nice breakout that everyone was then like, oh, XRP is going to the moon. And then we come down. I mean, look, my view would be wait and see what happens on the 20. A lot of indications are that we're going to get a sell-off on the Japanese markets opening. So wait and see. There's a lot of reasons that we could see some push downs. At the same time, we could end up doing the complete opposite. The only reason I say that and why I think it's probably just worth seeing what happens in the market is kind of my theory of last week when I was shorting the US market open, but they wicked the market up by like nearly $2,000, which just liquidated all the people going short, and then they dumped the price down. So, you know, again, we're at a key level right now. This is on the 12-hour. The 4-hour, again, holding on this key support range. Right now, struggling at the 20-day EMA. So, yeah, potentially, you know, you could get this momentum push down here on XRP and sort of wipe out, you know, potentially back down to this range around 136. So, you know, my view is we've got, what, an hour and 10 minutes until the US futures markets. Although, will future markets open? They won't, will they? So you may actually get, weirdly, a little bit of a upside relief because there isn't really a market to kind of push this down. So XRP isn't moving any different than any other top 50. But my point is, though, that we've seen in my view, a low liquidity weekend manipulation. You know, the fact that XRP rallied to like 165 yesterday, and then all of a sudden has dumped all the way back down to 140, well, ICG says, tie your shoe tight. We're about to run soon. Love that. What a great analogy. I was just our thoughts. Oh, sorry, Craig, you did ask about Canton. I totally ignored it. I apologize. Let me bring Canton up. So, Canton Network. Now, if you remember, we were discussing this last time we were live, didn't we? And we actually said, if we can hold the 20-day EMA, then good news. And if we don't hold the 20-day EMA, then we might actually get a little further push down. Now, there probably is a line somewhere here that says this would probably be my target. So if we get a bearish market open, thanks for the bagels, man. A bearish market open could see Canton push down. The only bit of optimism you've got here, Craig, is you actually see a little bit of a green candle. The 50 looks like it's a really important level. Hey, look at that one. Where's my drink gone? Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. But if we lost the 50 here on Canton, then yeah, we could do it. I mean, this is a positive sign that this wick got eaten up to the upside. But yeah, lose it. For me, we could be heading to 15.5. So we'll see. Almost at 40k, 2-bit. I love that, by the way, Aisha. I love that. Erasmo! Baker Oil leverage long. It's a cert. It's all about the leverage longs. Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Hey, Aisha, as long as you are winning, that's all that matters to me. How far do you see HBAR and XRP drop on the next dip? Well, I mean, they'll probably go down to where we were. If we think 60K was where we were before, I mean, that's the 60K dip, isn't it? On, sorry, this is Canton. Where's XRP? There it is. So, yeah, that's the 60K dip down to 111. Now, does it go that low? Maybe. Canton will go to $1 soon. Maybe, Erasmo. Look, I like Canton. I've said for a while I like it. So, yeah, I mean, XRP, I would expect us to probably dip down to around 136, depending on where we go and how aggressively we go. If we get an absolute dumperino, then, yeah, panic. If not, then we're probably going to be okay. Yeah, we'll see a bit of a push down, so watch out for that. HBAR, on the other hand, been having a rough ride recently. Feels like it is. Forrest, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Forrest. Hey, good to see you, man. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Shout out to you for the love and support. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate the rose. Very much kind. Thank you so much. So, yeah, if we lose the 50 EMA here, just under 10 cents on HBAR, then expect us to drop a little bit lower. Potentially 9.5. Look, whenever we've been above the 20-day EMA, then you're fine. So you're looking for a bounce off here of around the 9.5 cent range. If we fail that, you're probably looking to load up around 8 cents, 8, maybe something like that. So be mindful is what I would say. Be mindful, because there is definitely an argument to say that, look, if we believe BTC is going to push down, then, alts aren't going to suffer. Alts aren't really going to, do that well on the back of that as well. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. What's that? What was that, bro? It looked cool as. Hey, Cryptovarius says I got the buy orders. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the key things right now, especially at some of these. Even if you think they're insane, I think I've told you guys before, I have my, buy order set here, my long trade around $62,000 that takes us to a 6-figure long on BTC. So look, hopefully we can grab that on the next dip down. And people would say, oh, 2-bit, you're just bearish because that's where you want the price to go to. Just got to understand where structure is. We failed to break above the 20-day EMA here on the 12-hour chart. Tells me that this is not a good rally. Look at the volume over the weekend. It's garbage. Oversold, overbought on the stochastic RSI. All of the indicators right now that tells us we're probably going down. Could be wrong though. All right. And that's like a proper cop-out, but you get my point. Although if it does get back to the 17s again, we'll definitely sell. There you go, Craig. HI was my best trade this cycle. What was that? Bought the loan, sold the top. Nice. HBAR partnership with FedEx is nice. Yeah, look, FedEx, they've got some great partnerships. It's good on Fairground. So have Algorand and all the rest of it. Yeah, like I said, I like HBAR. I think it'll do well. I just think loads of people right now aren't going to go fringe altcoins. If anything, I think they'll go Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, the top end coins until this market starts to rise. I mean, look at BNB. It's $615, which is wild. I still have my sub $1 XRP buy orders in just in case Iran pops off or Clarity fails. That's true. I mean, that's another catalyst. I mean, I don't think we get anything with Clarity this week, but imagine we do. Could be painful. Man, my nose has just started running. Better catch it. That's what happens when you stay up late 2 nights in a row. It's not good. Joe, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Oh, it's all good, House. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Harry says, sorry I'm late to the party. What's XRP looking like? I mean, it's okay. If we hold the 20-day EMA, that's going to be more favorable. If we don't, then we pump or dump. My view is, and again, I'm standing by this narrative, and I've been wrong. We could definitely be wrong. Markets are closed, low liquidity, could still see us a pretty volatile weekend, but, we've basically wiped out the entire weekend, haven't we? So we got a dump on Saturday, pump, most of Sunday, early part of Saturday, we got a nice little move up, but yeah, we pretty much wiped out the weekend. Innovative, it will make a matter. What is it? How about Sui? Yeah, I like Sui, man. I'm not kidding. I do like Sui. 97 cents right now. Price target for me still sits here around 86 cents before I even start to think about buying it. Lower price target under 70 cents. And I think it does get to that point. They're afraid, mate, they're going with what other people are thinking. I mean, that's true. That's true. XRP going down to 70 cents. Street Soldier UK, 70 cents. You're crazy. Boris says, as soon as the real whales can buy where they want to, then we go up. If you're still holding any of the big cryptos, you need to set your targets at break even and start again in the bear market. Also foiling their 4-year cycle, they're all going solo. That's true. That's true. Derek in the building, so what's good? Oh, thoughts on Jupe. Now, Jupe had a nice run the other day. And I still think it's undervalued. I'm not going to lie. It's 16 cents. Can you believe that? Man, Jupe is such an undervalued coin right now. The only problem you've got is no one's buying and launching coins. And no one, like, everyone used to go to Jupiter because Radium was garbage. The problem is Jupe needs to front run now, people launching it. They need to make their liquidity pools attractive enough for new meme coins on Solana to launch, and they're not. And I think that's a problem. I still hold a bag of Jupe, by the way, and I still like it as a token, and I still think it'll do pretty, pretty well. But they need to get their act together, and they need to get cracking. But 16 cents feels like a steal, if I'm dead honest. This is their direct competitor, if you ask me. Pump still broken out of this downward channel here, look, that we talked about the other day. So Pump's actually looking pretty good. 2215, still above the 20-day EMA, could push higher. It's really, Pump's super interesting right now, especially even if you start to fib this mother trucker. Look at that. Look at that. Lost out of the 382 Fibonacci and came back down again. Could retest 236. Could be an opportunity for a long. Equally, you know, it could be an opportunity for a short right now, but yeah. I still got XRP Biodas chilling at 35 cents. I don't care. Market can come to me. That's what we say. Don't buy the FOMO, all right? It's important. It's important because I think so many people right now, as we said right at the very start of tonight's stream, people are desperate to not miss out on this market, and therefore they will make bad decisions, they will FOMO the pumps, and then they will get wrecked on the dumps. And if you wanted to, or don't believe me, just look at this weekend. Exactly the same. There's the Saturday morning move up. We then consolidate going higher. People freak out, think they're going to get wrecked. Boom, market just absolutely owns them. Back end, and we go into a new week. Like, it's well. It's well. Street, so Chainlink is one to buy. Yeah, I agree. Forrest says XRP. Let's get it, Forrest. Yeah, I think, yeah, I like Chainlink, by the way. What's the price of Chainlink? Casey, what's going on? I think it's a lot to you, Casey. I mean, 871. Who would have thought you'd have got a chance to buy Chainlink under 10 bucks ever again? I mean, some of these prices are a joke right now. Most alts usually drop 99% of bear market from their highs. XRP could hit 35. Yeah, it could do. It could do, but it didn't when you got the massive market crash. And I've been saying this for a while now. XRP for me is the one coin that I think has a different narrative than many others. When you look at kind of what they've got building, you look at institutional demand, you look at the integration in terms of finance. You heard what they talked about at the XRP Community Day. You know that they're sort of all about institutions. Like I just feel like it could be different, but $6 link sounds good. Yeah, I know. Oh, house, but we're ready. 70%, so I don't see 90. I mean, maybe yeah. Groundhog every Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. Pump the market. Liquidate everybody. Took profits yesterday, then put in a short on a coin. Nice, bro. Making it happen right now. I love it. I love it when this community is winning. I don't care how you win. I just love it when people are winning. I think the bottom has been hit. I'm going to consolidate till clarity now. Ooh, maybe. Thing is, I still think that you've got a load of turmoil in the US right now that I don't think people like. You've got this Iran narrative that's still there. So, I mean, yeah, do I subscribe to go like way lower than 60? I mean, I think we always talked between 60. What do we always say? It was like 57 to 62 or something we said, didn't we? Harry says, if you had $2,000, what single coin would you put it in? Single coin. This is going to be really controversial and people aren't going to like it, but I would probably put it in Solana. That's my opinion. All right, it's my opinion. It's my opinion, and I would take that Solana, and I would have that Solana staked, and I think that, yeah, if I had to pick one, Solana would probably be a good one. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. But I think XRP is good. ETH is probably a little bit too high, but yeah, I mean, BTC is a decent one, but yeah, I mean, Sol, do I see Sol going down much further than $80? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Bitcoin says Fairground. What are your thoughts on the Venice token? VVV. I don't really have any, to be fairness. What's the price of it right now? Have we never looked at this before? Let's have a look. VVV. Venice token. Here we go. I've got it. It's up 47%. Is that why you've said, what do you think of it? Because it's up 47%. FOMO is real, everybody. Okay, I'm just going to give you my honest feedback on it. Let's have a look. It's garbage, and I wouldn't touch it. All right, it's at a 47% pump. It did this last time and then corrected down to 83 cents. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, somebody or some person or entity or whatever is pumping this, and there's no way I'd touch this. Look at the volume. It's up 65%. Yeah, not for me, that. Not for me. I mean, it's pumped a few times before, and it's always dumped all the way back down again. So, unless they've announced some, like, insane, like, news that's going to send this to the moon, then, yeah, it doesn't look great, if I'm honest. It doesn't look great, if I'm honest. Fleur is the dark horse of the market call. Now, Cryptovarious, I actually talked about Fleur Network. What are they at? Like 170 million now? Locked XRP? It's pretty interesting. Tomas says if crypto drops like that, the fear and greed index will be, yeah, no, can you imagine? Fear and greed's at 1. Like, oh, really? Really? Daniel says H bar. Nice. $2,000 single coin, set a low buyout on whatever you choose, not today's price. Yeah, exactly, Joe. Exactly. ICG says Casper. Interesting. Interesting. Venice is sinking. Yeah, I don't think I would be interested in Venice, by the way. It looks wild. Just my view. Your thought about Pyth Network. Hey, I like Pyth Network. Do we track Pyth Network? I feel like we do. I like it, but it's such an underutilized network that so many people just don't care about, and I don't know why. Do we track Pyth? I thought we did. Or maybe we don't. It's annoying. I actually thought I did. Yeah, I actually do quite like it, in fairness. And I think what it stands for, what it does, is great. And loads of people use it without even noticing. I just feel like it never really got the traction it deserved. Like, it's real aggregated values. It's like way better than loads of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, what's it at right now? 5 cent, down 4.5, volumes at 320 million. It's a shame, really, because I do like it. I do like it, and I think it could have done loads of good. And it's still, I mean, Pyth Network could be one of those that you still get multi-chain, because it has a purpose, doesn't it? And, you know, like we always say, like, you got to look for your entries. But, yeah, I do like it. We use it to track some of our coins that we keep an eye on. But, yeah. Man, lots of people jumping in. Welcome in, everybody. Street says, if I need to pick one, it will be Deep Snitch AI. It sounds wild. Sounds crazy. I actually swapped most of my Canton for more sand. Craig, you are wild. I love it. Pyth has potential for sure. It's another Oracle. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And lots of people don't even understand that they literally use PythNet. They literally use the aggregated price values from Pyth Network. Just no one knows they're doing it. Wild, if you ask me. It's crazy. Yeah, I love it, Craig. Let's just have a look at what is sand doing right now. Just purely out of coincidence. It's down 6.5%, Craig. I mean, if you believe in AI, then sand is the play right now. But, I mean, yeah, not sure. So what are your thoughts on Proppy? Do you think this will be, well, when people are looking to purchase homes with crypto? I mean, the problem you've got, in my opinion, is we are miles away from that. Just my view, by the way. We're miles away from people buying houses with cryptocurrency. So if that's its narrative, then, yeah, I'm not sure it's going to do very well at this moment in time. Then the problem you've got is when you get to that place, then what else comes out? I mean, look at that. I mean, it's disaster, isn't it? I mean, it's down 93% from its all-time high. So conceptually, it's a nice idea. Realistically, is it going to do anything? Probably not. Probably not. If we're just dead honest with ourselves, I don't see it personally. Bitcoin Bijam, another 5. Thank you so much. Says worth jumping into Solana for a bounce back to 120. I mean, it's definitely worth looking at. I don't know whether it rallies now. I mean, if we think the market's going to push down this week, then yeah, I'm not sure you would want to be getting Solana right now. But BitTensor, another good one. Yeah, I mean, that is on a discount though right now, isn't it? Holy shit, that thing absolutely collapsed. 184, still pushing down. Volume, down 61%. Yeah, I mean, it's insane to think about it. It's insane. But its price, it's volatile in terms of price. It's about as low as it's probably going to go, assuming the market holds up at 179. Maybe it wicks a little bit lower, but yeah, I mean, potentially. The only thing to be mindful of is its trajectory. So higher high, higher low, and then you get lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So yeah, it's very much in a downtrend on Tau. But in my opinion, has an ETF. Lots of people like it. Institutional money likes it. You know, could be okay, I think. Got to survive till the next pump in the market. That's the reality right now. That's the reality right now. Earth prospecting depends on how much XRP you already know. I think, have I missed that one? Maybe. Do you still consider XRP a true crypto since it has evolved to service the banking sector more than a traditional crypto market? I mean, I think the entire market's converted now. And by the way, I don't sit in the narrative that, you know, Bitcoin should be for the elites and not should be in the banking sector. We unfortunately live in a world, like if you truly, you know, when people go, oh, Bitcoin, they should never have allowed them in as they type on their like brand new computer in their office and all the rest of it. It's like, you're either in the world or you're not. And you could then be in Bitcoin and go and live out life of not being involved in all the rest of it. Phoenix says BTC got to 3K. Maybe. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, yes and no, really. Yes and no. I'm not going to sit here, by the way, and pretend I am not here for one thing. Yes, I want to see the advancement of the crypto market. Yes, I want to see more people come on chain. Yes, I want to see businesses using cryptocurrency. But let's just be really, really clear as to why I want to do that is because it's going to push the price up. All right, let's not kid ourselves. It's like, why did people buy tech stocks in the dot-com bubble? Why? Because they thought they were going to go up. It's not like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Like, you know, so if anyone's like, well, I'm all about the advancement of blockchain. Yeah, I bet they are with their like 400 Bitcoin sat in their wallet. They're still using, like, get out of here. They drive. It's like the person that's like, oh, well, you know, Bitcoin's just for all these OGs. It's decentralized, as they then drive around in a brand new Lambo. You're like, those two things don't go together. You know, just my opinion. Street Soldiers, what do you think about Near Protocol? Like it. I feel it's a little bit undervalued. I feel like the AI sector just kind of ignored it. And they started to do a little bit, but they didn't really execute it very, very well. That's the annoying thing with the Near Protocol. We're actually in it in the investment group, but yeah. Is Pax Gold crypto worth buying? Potential for a 7K. Pax Gold. But I think I say this to you every time, Bitcoin, Bijam. You don't need to dono every time you want me to look at a coin. If you ask me to look at a coin, I'll look at a coin. That doesn't mean I'm not appreciative of it, by the way, because I am. So yeah, Pax Gold, 7K. I mean, look at the chart, bro. The chart's freaking insane. But the only thing I would say is I don't like charts that look like that. That looks as manipulated as ever. But I'm assuming I mean, you're assuming that gold's going to go at $7,000. Just for a second then, I just totally like, I totally just misread what I was talking about then. So do I think gold gets to 7,000? That's the question, right? That's the question. Irrespective of Pax Gold, does gold get to $7,000? My honest opinion, no. It's just my opinion. Do I think it can go higher? Yeah, of course I do. And I think if silver continues to dump as well, by the way, I think we could definitely see a little bit more further upside rallying in gold. But yeah, I mean, you're basically hedging against the price of gold. Forget the coin. It's just gold, isn't it? Thoughts on Quant? I mean, where is Quant at right now? It was grinding its way up the last time we looked at it. Man, where is it? Quant, $70. I mean, Quant historically always gets back above 100. Always has done, and it might always do it. You know, look at like the chart on Quant. Like, it always has these like insane dumps down to like $50, pumps back up. Look at that, 225, dumps all the way down to, you know, $50, pumps back up to 173. Dumps all the way down $50. I mean, in theory, you know, it's probably heading back to like 150, assuming that the market's going. Viva la Basis, can we look at Elephant Token? Which one? Which one do you want to look at? All right. We don't always get them right. Man, this was a disappointment. I actually had them on from an AMA as well. I mean, what do you think? What do you think, bro? Oh, it just looks like the worst chart in the world, doesn't it? It's the worst chart in the history of mankind. What is the best crypto? Bitcoin. I'm investing in Solana, Martin. Good choice. Make sure that you use on a decentralized wallet. Make sure you stake that Solana if you're not bothered about selling it next week. 6.45% APY. Get it staked, all right? Not financial advisor, I'm telling you. Like, make your coins work. All my Solana is staked. Why Pyth ripped, then dipped over 6 months? Man, I just invited someone to the stream. Don't come on the stream if I just invited you. I pressed the button by mistake. Heard no talk on ETH for ages. Really? Man, Vitalik's been out there saying that they are like literally grinding it. Not on a Controversial Canadian, not on a DeFi one. So, like, if you have to install it into a protocol, yield farming is not particularly good. Staking's fine. Staking's fine. Do it through Phantom Wallet. You still have custody of that. All you're doing is, I mean, exchanges are all right, but understand that exchanges can still basically take your cryptocurrency away from you. On a DeFi wallet, then that's not the same. So like Phantom Wallet with Solana, you are essentially just upstaking the network. On the Kraken or Coinbase, they just reward you for holding their coins on their platform. So yeah. Do you like River or trade it? River? I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. River. Have we looked at this before? I mean, it's down 20%, so I don't know if I'd touch this. Fat Sonic, good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Good to see you, man. Oh, it says missed the dump by a few minutes, but got liquidated. Missed the dump by a few minutes, but got liquidated. I'm sure. Fairground says, I don't follow many other influencers now. All talk the same. I've unsubbed from them now. Shout out to Fairground. Bringing it in fresh right now. Love it. Love the vibes, Fairground. Just tuned in. What did I miss? Not a lot, really. We're talking about the next move down, in my opinion. That chart never behaved during the AMAs. Yeah, it's wild. Wild. I mean, the river chart's crazy. Look at that weekly candle. Like, nuts. Yeah, I would definitely not touch that, personally. Right. I think BTC's trying to rally back up to potentially, 69K, which could be an interesting short position. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, of the 20-day EMA, potentially. Quan looks great buy, but I can... Bitcoin Beach, I think so. I mean, look, Quan historically dips to $50. Then in a bull market rallies to like 150, 160, 170. It's a grinder. It's a bit like Tron, isn't it? It's just a grinder coin that goes up. River, I was long. I like $4. Something played with very little, but essentially the same BS as Pippin. Maybe they're all the same. Yep, I unsubbed from every channel that promotes alts. There we go. What do I reckon? Yeah, Wayne, I've said this. I like Flare. I do like what they're doing. I just think they're a little bit undervalued. And if you want to use their vaults, you have to commit your coins to it, which I don't really like, in my honest opinion. I don't like committing coins to vaults because it means I don't have them. And it goes back to a coin that launched way back in 2021 called Phantom. It was a massive scam. They did a massive pre-sale, scammed everyone. Then they opened up staking vaults and I was like, oh, this sounds fucking great. Staked it, tried to recoup something, they just scammed it all. So yeah, I don't like doing it that way. So yeah, like that's why I like Solana for a DeFi wallet. It's actually on chain, but it's still attached to my wallet. So even if the validator is like, screw this, I'm going, I still get my coins back. Been doing swing on banker coin. Nice. I feel like we looked at that as well, actually. I feel like we looked at that before. Yeah, they're everywhere. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they seem, and don't forget, they do remove 1 XRP out from the Flare network every day. So if you're bullish on XRP, then yeah, you should be bullish on Flare. Oh, by the way, in other news, how annoying is it the fact that they've removed DIM from Twitter? Like, who the hell does that? Like, what? They removed the DIM setting. It's like, bro, really? Come on. Yeah, so there you go. Look, 97 million FXRP right now. Locked up in DeFi is 69.1%. It's a pretty big. Locked in DeFi, $121 million. So, Flare Network essentially will be as good as XRP ends up being. But yeah, that's why I like it, by the way. It's nearly 100 million with the majority of it already locked in DeFi. It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big. Dream Tanks. What's Twitter? Sorry, X. Yeah, they removed the DIM thing, though. It's like, come on. Like, this doesn't look any good. Anyway, everybody. Anyway, as much fun as it is talking about this. We are getting towards the end of the show right now. So, yeah. I'm just using total chart. We should at least get 2.5, 2.8 at the most. Probably reject down to 1.9 for the bear market bottom. Fat Sonic coming in fresh. Harry said, would love to sell 50% of my XRP and see if I can buy back at 115. Thoughts? In my personal experience, every time I sell, it goes higher. That's just my personal experience. Now, I've said this a number of times. I sold at 149 on XRP. So technically when this pumped up here, I was like, oh, for Christ's sake. But I didn't sell all my bag. Again, you guys know I went to 50% stablecoin on about 108 on BTC, and then I sold a little bit more. So I'm sat with some stablecoin to deploy into this market. But can you sell more? I want to wait until this market dips a little bit lower. I feel like it's got a bit more to give to the bottom end, and that's when I'll go in. So, you know, again, Harry, you got to make your decisions. But I personally think that we get another bite of the cherry at about $61,000 in BTC. But yeah, I'm long and open to hit 72k BTC at least. Nice, Fat Sonic. Please sell more of yours then. That's normally what happens. You can always tell if a coin crashes is normally because I've bought it. And if a coin goes to the moon, it's normally because I've sold it. Tim says, would it become a taxable event? Might not be worth it unless you're down. Exactly. Yeah, that's another good point. Harry, you know, if you convert to anything else, then that becomes a taxable event, depending on where your jurisdiction is and your tax laws. Magic Case says, I sold 70% of my XRP at $2. There you go. You see, Craig absolutely nailed it. Nailed it. Right, everybody, that does bring us to the end of the show. As always, thank you so much. We've been live for an hour and 25 minutes. So bringing it out fresh as always. Look out for some content updates tomorrow. Look out for the Japanese GDP release in the next 50 minutes. Could end up being pretty tasty. Could end up pushing the market down. Maybe why we're seeing this little bit of a rally before the markets potentially come down. Equally, you know, we could definitely see a little bit further with all those US markets closed. Low liquidity, though, does mean volatility is the key. All right, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Do join our free Discord. Link is in the description. And we'll be back here tomorrow night, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK, bringing it fresh. And I'm not away this week, so I'll be live every night, as always, bringing you the latest and greatest. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. Take care. I'll see you soon.